Greetings, YouTube Nation. So, this is the other Athearn H2466 Trainmaster that I picked up at the Edison show in August. The price tag does read as $25, but I got this one and the other Trainmaster, the one that was experiencing the short circuit. I got both of them for $40. So while the other Trainmaster didn't run and I got it running again, this one did run, but it exhibited odd behavior. Not that it shorted out, and I still have the power pack with the overload indicator connected to my test track. I'm going to let you see for yourself what I mean by odd behavior. I'm going to switch angles. Hold on. So, I have it on the test track, and it is properly railed. I could assure you that myself. So, I'm going to apply some power. I'm not sure if you saw what I saw. I mean, you're not here, I'm here. Did you see this incredible wobble? I'm going to bring it up to you again. It shouldn't wobble. And even though it's wobbling, it won't fall down. Yeah, I went there. So, I'm gonna crack this girl open and see what's going on underneath. Back in a bit. Well, someone did the wiring for me, or some of it, and it's got the old, it has the gray flywheels, and they kept the original headlight, although we are going to replace that with an LED. I could see that the motor mounts, the motor is not seated properly. I don't have to do any fancy wiring because the previous owner wired the gear towers to the motor clip. But again, I'm going to clean everything, and chances are I am going to have to replace the motor mounts because this thing is not seated properly. Could that be the reason for the wobble? Now, mind you, I haven't started anything yet. This is what I found underneath the shell. I haven't fixed anything, so let's take a look. I'm curious. Yeah, that is the culprit. It's because of how the motor is seated. I'm not sure if you could see it, but right over here, it's just not sitting correctly. So I'm still going to take this girl apart within reason. I'm going to definitely replace the motor mounts. I'm going to keep the wires, except of course for the one to the light bracket, because we're going to put in some LEDs. So let's get to it. And one other thing, you've seen me take these things apart before in previous videos, so I'm not going to shoot the disassembly of this locomotive down to the frame. I'm just going to record the progress that I've made. So I'll see you on the flip-flop. Okay, so we're at the next leg of getting this thing running again. Now I've desoldered the wires leading from the top motor clip to the gear tower, so I can get into the gear towers. So I can get in and clean them. Looks like they are bone dry. The wheels are also, wow, look at that. That's gotta get cleaned. But bottom of the motor, where the bottom clip of the motor goes is good. Could be a little cleaner. I'll probably just polish that up slightly. The fuel tank is a little, seems firmly in there, except it's a little loosey-goosey somewhat. I might just CA it, and that'll be done with that. I'm keeping the wire that was soldered from the top motor clip to the light bracket. We can repurpose that another time, but here's the motor itself. Now, the motor mounts, goners, completely brittle, and there's something janky on the, holy cow, it's the spring. I gotta get it. Alright, I'll have to get in here. But the other janky thing about this motor, look how this wire is soldered to the top motor clip. You get an F for sloppiness. So I'm gonna get in here, clean it, take care of the oxidation on the commutator, because that needs it bad. Some lubrication. It's The flywheels are spinning freely. No issue with that, but I gotta take care of all this. So, be right back. Alright, so here we are at the reassembly of the of the Trainmaster. So off camera, because you've seen me do this so many times, I've cleaned the axles, cleaned the gears inside the gear towers here and here, applied good old red lithium to the gears for the lubrication, and I also took liberty of cutting short the wires that were soldered from the gear towers to the top motor clip. I've also added heat shrink tube so that I could feed through the LED wires through here, and I created a new solder glob on the top motor clip for the front LED. I'm using the existing solder glob for the rear LED, and I also put a little solder spot on the rear gear tower, but I'm not ready to do the lights just yet. The important thing right now was correcting the wobble and cleaning the whole thing of it. Also, more importantly, new motor mounts. So now the motor is sitting nice and flush and level. So because I have an awkward test track, I'm going to hold down this section so that you could see this thing move forward and backward. For the most part, as you can see, the wobble is gone. And I've also got a nice cleaner locomotive. So the next step will be to put in the LEDs, and then we'll take her to the endurance track. Here we go. Alright, so I've got the LED on the front, wire threaded through, soldered to the top motor clip, rear LED, black wire soldered to the top motor clip, red wire soldered to the gear tower in a precarious position. So we're gonna test it with, and I gotta hold the track down, forward, and backward. So we're doing pretty good. Let me bring it over to the layout so that maybe we could see it, see the lights actually work. So I'm just going to head on over to the endurance track, and we'll see you right there. Alright, so here we are on the endurance track. Power pack is on, and forward we go, and reverse. Much better, not having to hold any track down. And yeah, my test track is like everything else, is a work in progress. So, why don't we take her for a spin? Current draw is pretty decent. Voltage is also very good. I'm sorry if it's out of focus, but it looks like it is barely over 8 volts. Current draw is also very good. And I don't see any wobble. If you see any wobble right now, it's because of my hands. And we're almost at the completion of the first lap. First lap is completed, no hiccups. And the current draw is still pretty good, as is the voltage. And we're between 35 and 40% throttle. So, going to let this girl run for a while, because Lord knows how long it's been since she's had a proper run. And while she's shaking her sillies out, we can address the shell. So, here we are with the shell. Aside from the telltale dust along the walkways, the stanchions are intact. I mean, they're a little wonky, they were a little bent, but and this stanchion is loose. So we'll have to correct that. I may have to take a pin vise to make the hole just a little bit larger. Like so. So it just fits in. So the stanchions are all here. The horn is damaged, so we'll have to fix that. The front and the rear of the shell are fine. I don't have to do any surgery with the donor shell like I did with the other Troublesome Trainmaster. Like the other Troublesome Trainmaster that kept short, where the overload indicator kept lighting up before I got it running again. It is going to get renumbered. I am going to keep it as a Pennsylvania. It just needs a good cleaning. So we'll try and spiff it up, put a new horn on. Be right back. Alright, so I cleaned up the shell, gave her a good scrubby-dubby cleaning. I also had to persuade a couple of the front stanchion, a couple of the cab end and long hood end stanchions to stay in their spot, and had to use CA for that. We got a brand new horn over here, brand new numbering. Went with the same idea as with the previous Trainmaster. Now, in the previous Trainmaster, I had used a different marker for the stairs and railings at each end of the locomotive. So this time around, I used a yellow paint pen, Sharpie paint pen, and I liked how it came out so good, or so much. Think straight. I liked how well it came out. So I went back to the other Trainmaster and I did the same touch-up with the yellow paint pen, and came out pretty good. The new decals are behaving themselves. So I'm just going to marry this to the chassis, put its horn, I'm going to put its couplers back on. The locomotive came with number 5s on each end. So that spares me having to change couplers or deplete my supply. So I'm going to put these onto the chassis before I put the shell on. And we're also going to check for coupler height. And then we'll see how she is with her new shell. Be right back. Okay, although it's somewhat awkward, to best display the how well the light works on each end, or rather the LED works on each end, I shut off the overhead light. So here we are backward with the long hood forward, and here we are on the cab end. Pretty nifty. And the locomotive is behaving very well with its new shell, and as we are about to complete the first lap, it is behaving itself with no wobble whatsoever. Well, I was going to do the pull test, and for whatever reason, even though it was running fine on its own, it was struggling, pulling a consist of cars that really shouldn't have slowed it down. And at one point, it just came to a dead stop, and smoke came out from under the shell. I mean, I just saw the smoke, and wow. This motor overheated for no good reason. Even the flywheels are hot to the touch. So I'm gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna see if I have a spare motor, and if I have to, I'll transplant the motor. I'll just get rid of this motor and put it into a brand new motor. So to be continued. Okay, so I removed the gray flywheel motor, and I put in a motor with brass flywheels, and it was only fitting because the other H2466 Trainmasters had the same type of motor, flywheels. The original motor I'm keeping, but I labeled it 6M. 6 because it could fit into a 6-axle locomotive. M because it's a misfit toy. So I'm just gonna set that to the side, and here's the new motor in action. So I'm going to take this to the endurance track, see how she behaves, and check for any shorts. Be right back. Alright, so I just completed a couple of laps. Current draw is pretty decent. It's a little bit better than the previous motor. I do have it on a high throttle setting. Shame on me. But it's still pretty responsive. And it's on the verge of completing another lap. Alright, let's see how she is with pulling a consist. Hold on. Well, we're at 75% throttle given the consist. Current draw and amperage are okay. But she's pulling. And she's pretty, and for the amount of cars that she's pulling, it's pretty good. I should have put a gold motor in from the get, but of course we have to see if the existing hardware, if you will, could still stand up to the test. And this is how we learn. And this is how we build up on our modern railroading skills. Well, I'm a happy camper. I do like the challenge. Not only did I correct the wobble, got rid of the wobble, we got her a new motor, new lights, a new lease on life. And with that being said, I'd like to thank my subscribers for their continued support. If you are not a subscriber, there is a link in the bottom right-hand corner. Please remember to like and share. And, as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.